Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are still firmly pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be based on this article. The headline reads, Man catches fire at airport business lounge after power bank explodes in his pocket. And this sort of thing tends to happen more frequently lately, which, like I've said before, the Lord is getting very creative with how he judges people, how he brings judgment upon people. Like he'll have people's phone exploding in their pocket and things like that. Things that people don't even consider. They're out and about doing whatever they're doing, and then their phone will be in their pocket and the battery will overheat and it will just explode, and it's like something that seems so random, but yet in the grand scheme of things, it's the judgment of the Lord. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. It says travelers were forced to evacuate after a man caught on fire at a business lounge at an airport in Australia with a power bank ignited in his pocket. The incident, which left the man with minor burns, took place Thursday in a business lounge for Qantas Airways at the busy Melbourne International Airport. The airport confirmed to NBC News. Firefighters responded to the incident with the lounge evacuated as a precaution, the airport confirmed. Passengers reported panic as smoke emerged. In a Reddit post, one traveler said they heard screaming from the other side of the lounge and that the explosion of the device sent battery acid flying everywhere. Said his jacket caught on fire. They evacuated us because the smoke and smell was so strong. But I really just hope the guy is okay, the traveler added. Local media reported that the man, who is in his 50s, was in stable condition at a hospital after suffering the burns to his leg and fingers. Qantas did not immediately respond to a request for comment from NBC News. Australian filmmaker Leanne Tonke, who was in the lounge at the time, posted about the incident on social media. She said, hoping the man who caught fire holding it is okay. Quick thinking from the man who jumped in to help and the staff who got him in the shower and everyone else out of the lounge. Yeah, because I believe that there's like a decontamination shower or something for incidents like that, where like a phone explodes or something and it's like battery acid, because you gotta clean that stuff up quickly. Said according to the Transport Security Administration, power banks containing a lithium-ion battery must be packed in carry-on bags. Spare lithium batteries, which include power banks, are not allowed in checked luggage. Several of the world's biggest airlines, including Emirates, Singapore Airlines, and Cathay Pacific, prohibit the use of power banks on their flights. In October 2025, an Air China flight made an emergency landing in Shanghai after a lithium battery in a passenger's carry-on bag ignited. Yeah, and we see that same stuff happening with like these e-bikes and e-scooters, and even with Teslas, the Tesla cars, the lithium ion battery will you know will just explode. I guess if it overheats or something, and a lot of people have gotten killed because of that. People have had e-bikes or electric bikes or electric scooters in their apartment building or in their house, and then the battery overheats and it explodes and it causes a massive fire. And yeah. So this was just yet another example of a lithium ion battery, exploding and hurting someone. Psalms 9:16, the Lord Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executed. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands, Hegion Selah. And that was clearly judgment from the Heavenly Father. To have the battery pack or the power pack that this person was carrying in their pocket, to have that explode and, minorly injure that man. And that's some scary stuff. Here it is, you just have it in your pocket, you're not thinking too much about it, and then next thing you know, it explodes and you're on fire, and it's just a very chaotic situation. But like I said, the Lord, he's creating new ways of judging people. And this is why you're supposed to fear the Lord, because the Lord can literally turn anything into a weapon to be used against you. Deuteronomy 32:39. See now that I, even I am he, and there is no power with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. And through his various judgments, the Lord kills and wounds people, in particular wicked people, every day. Men, women, children, babies, whether they're elderly, whether they're young, it doesn't matter. Because like it says in Romans 2:11, there is no respect of persons with Yahweh. And like it says in Psalm 7:11, Yahweh judgeth the righteous, and Yahweh is angry with the wicked every day. And that's why every day, people get wounded and killed from fires, from shootings, from stabbings, from car crashes, from animal attacks, from many other various judgments. And like it says, neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So if the Lord wants the judgment that takes place to wound a bunch of people, then a bunch of people are going to get wounded. If he wants people to get killed, then people are going to die. There's nobody that can stop the judgment of the Lord from being fulfilled or from coming to pass. Ecclesiasticus 39:28, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Salakia. Verse 29, fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. And that's right, these fires were created for vengeance. These fires that destroy, that wound, and that kill. Fire is one of the Lord's spirits of vengeance, and he uses that to bring judgment. And this was just one example of that. Someone's house catches on fire, someone's apartment complex catches fire, someone's car catches fire, these wildfires. All of these different types of fires are the judgments of the Lord. And they do exactly what the Lord created them to do, which is bring destruction or to wound people or to kill people, all according to the Heavenly Father's will. And these type of judgments are being brought upon these wicked people who daily provoke the Heavenly Father unto wrath with their continual wickedness, even though they know better, because most people have come across the men of the Lord They know that the wicked things that they're doing is going to get them caught up. They just don't care. A lot of people have this YOLO spirit. They have this you only live once spirit. So they really think that they should just do whatever it is, whatever wicked, demonic thing they want to do, because they think that if they die, that's it. They'll be dead and then they'll never come back. They don't understand reincarnation. And the scriptures tell us that. The scriptures tell us that every third or fourth generation, the Lord brings you back on this earth. So you die, and then 3, 4 generations later, you're reborn to play out whatever judgment the Lord has set for you. And a lot of people can't wrap their head around that. But that is how the Lord has set things up. So for all the people that are running around here being demons because they really think that they're only going to live one time and then they're going to die and that's the end of it, that is actually not the end of it. You see, that's why you look at situations where a baby will die and people will be like, that was a baby, they didn't even have a chance to Salakia. They didn't even have a chance to live their life. And the reason why the Lord killed them so early was because that was judgment. The Lord was punishing them. They did something in their past life, and the Lord punished them for it early on in this one. And a lot of people, like I said, they can't wrap their head around that. And it's because the Lord has to open your mind. He has to bless you with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And majority of these people, the Lord is just not dealing with, so they don't understand. That's why a lot of people will still be out here saying that they believe the Bible is a fairy tale book and it's made up and that God doesn't actually exist, and they'll be saying all sorts of blasphemous and wicked things because the Lord has not opened their mind and their eyes to, understand and to see things for what they really are. That's why when earthquakes or fires or tornadoes or hurricanes or volcano eruptions happen, instead of people being like, yeah, that was the judgment of the Lord, they'll say that that was Mother Nature. Because a lot of people can't believe that the Lord exists because they've never seen him. A lot of people have this seeing is believing spirit on them. They have no faith. They don't have faith that the Lord actually exists. But that's okay because Salakia. That's okay because in these last days that we're living in, the Lord, he's gonna prove that he exists. He's gonna bring so much judgment upon the earth that it's gonna become undeniable that he exists. The Lord is gonna force these people to acknowledge him. He's gonna quite literally beat these people into submission through his judgments. And those of us of the hopeful elect, we're going to be watching it. We're going to be watching it play out. And we understand that these people, this is what has to happen to them. They have to be wounded. They have to be killed. They have to be punished because they're never going to get right. They're going to continue to be wicked and do wickedness until the Lord, brings that judgment upon them. So whenever incidents like this happen, or shootings or stabbings or anything, any judgment where there's destruction or people get wounded or killed, those of us of the hopeful elect have got to keep in mind that this was the judgment of the Lord. And for the people who get wounded or killed, that was their punishment, because in the eyes of the Lord, that person or those people were wicked, whether they be an adult or a child. It doesn't matter. It could be an elderly person. It could be a pregnant woman. It could be a what people would refer to as a newborn baby. You know, Lord, he brings judgment upon whoever he wants to, whoever he deems deserving of that judgment. There is no such thing as random when it comes to the judgments of the Lord. Whoever gets judged, they were targeted by the Lord because of their wickedness. Their wickedness put them in the crosshairs of the Lord. And like I've said before, all of these judgments we're just going to see happen more often. So we're going to see a lot more power banks, cell phones exploding in people's pockets. And, it's going to start happening on the train. And while people are on the airplane, it's going to happen more often. It's just going to intensify. Because like I said, we're living in the last days. And like it says in 2 Timothy 3:1, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. You look up the definition of perilous and it means full of danger or risk. Times are about to become a lot more dangerous for everyone, but especially these wicked people with whom the Lord is angry with. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakudash, the Wadi Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. And shalom to all the sincere believers. Hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up, and Adawan Ratzazah. Until next time, shalom.